All right, I'm doing some laundry, so sorry if there's a little bit of noise in the background. I want to do a video specifically about if you have a 30 amp or a 50 amp plug, an outlet that's near your panel, or it's outside on the panel, outside near your meter. These instructions will work for any single one of you guys, okay? So if you guys get confused, refer back to me. First of all, we're gonna do the generator setup instructions first. You can do this first. You lose power, okay. Go get your generator, put it in the position that it's supposed to be in when you're gonna run and power your house, right? Hook up your propane, or hook up, make sure your gasoline's filled fully so that you don't have to turn it off, you know, shortly after because you ran out of gas. Okay, got it situated. Now leave the cord unplugged from the generator and your panel for right now. You can bring it and have it on both ends waiting to be plugged in, but don't plug it in yet. Good safety feature to do. So you got your cord, you go to where the plug is and the outlet. Like I said, it's gonna be either in the garage where the panel is, or outside where the meter can is. There's gonna be a panel, which is where the plug is wired into. Okay. Wherever the plug is, let's scratch that. Open up the panel where the plug is mounted underneath the panel. Open the panel up and look for, you'll see circuit breakers. Now look for the main breaker. It's gonna be a big one above all the little circuit breakers. And if it's not there where the plug is installed, go out to the meter can and there's gonna be another panel with the main. It's gonna be above all the little circuit breakers. Turn that off. Make sure that that is the main. It'll be labeled. All right, so that's off. Now, go ahead and plug the cords in. The plug into the outlet at the panel and on the generator. Plug it in. Generator's not running yet. Okay, so we got the cord hooked up right now. Awesome. Make sure your exhaust is facing away from where you have it closest to the house. You don't want exhaust fumes going in. Make sure you have a carbon monoxide alarm for safety. Okay, turn the generator on. If you have a gasoline generator, make sure that you turn your fuel knob, which is going to be located right under the fuel tank. You'll have a knob. Now some generators don't have that. It's built into the on-off switch and all that crap. You should know, because you've had your generator for a while, if you have a fuel shutoff at the actual gas tank. Turn that on so that fuel is flowing. All right, cool. Now go look on one end or the other of the generator, and it's gonna be the end where there's not that cylinder alternator, the electrical part of the generator sticking out. It's gonna be on the other side where you see your air filter box. It's gonna be a black box, a small square one. Those are the most common. You'll see the choke. You can go left or right, open or closed for when you're starting it, and then when you're running it. Turn the choke to the start position. Usually it's on the left. You move it all the way to the left. That's when you're starting the generator cold, since it's not warmed up. Okay, you got the choke there. If you're natural gas or liquid propane, start from where we have it both plugged in, both the cord plugged in at the generator and the panel, the outlet, but the gen's not running. Have your propane cord hooked up to the generator and to your propane tank. Make sure the connections are tight. Turn the propane tank on. And you're gonna look for, now this isn't on all of them, but just look anyways. If you have a regulator that is in eyesight, you can see a regulator on the bottom where the generator frame might be, or on the side. Look at that and look on the behind it and see if there's a little metal with a spring on it, plunger, that you can push. If there is, push that in and hold it in for a couple seconds, 5 seconds. You're gonna hear like a shh, which is the propane or natural gas flowing. And what that's doing is priming the fuel line that you just connected, the natural gas or propane line, and getting all the air out and getting it filled with fuel. Now, if you don't do that, you're gonna be trying to crank your generator 5-7 times, or pressing the button to start your generator 5 or 7 times until it empties all that air out, okay? So you do that. If you have it, cool, you press the button. If not, whatever. You have your natural gas or propane valve in the on position to allow fuel. On propane, you're gonna open the tank, right? Lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. Okay. Now, go to the control panel on your generator, and what I want you to do, where you plugged in the 30 amp or the 50 amp on the generator, there's gonna be a circuit breaker. And you'll see it, it'll say circuit breaker. Turn that off. Okay. Now, go to the panel where the cord is plugged. Where you plug it in at the panel, either in the garage or outside near the meter, whichever it was installed at. Go and turn off all of the major circuit breakers that are for the big appliances. Oven, AC, range, water heater, dryer, washer. Turn all those off. And you can tell those all are 240, 220 volt, whatever breakers. And so what that means is there's 120 and 240. 120 is the single breakers. The 240, if you look in your panel, you'll see breakers that are 1 and 1 together to make 2, and they're connected. That's 240. All the 240 breakers are going to be bigger loads most of the time than the 120. So just go ahead and turn off all the 220 breakers. If your panel is labeled correctly, do the ones I just said, you know, AC, water heater, dryer, oven, washer, stove. Now, if you have natural gas hooked up to your house or propane, and you have a propane oven, stove, water heater, dryer, if that's all on natural gas or propane, you don't got to turn those off because that's not electric, so it's not going to hit your generator with a huge load. AC, always though. Okay. You have those off. Go out to your generator. Okay, oh, last thing. So you got all those off. Your generator is running, right? Or we turn the generator on now. Generator's running. Turn on the circuit breaker at your generator near the 30 or 50 amp plug. Turn it on, flick it on. You're not gonna have power to the house yet because where that plug, the generator plug, the 30 or 50 that is installed at the panel, whether inside at the garage or outside. Now, it's not always inside at the garage. A lot of the times it is. Sometimes it can be right in the walkway going into the house from the garage. It can be in a cabinet. It can be somewhere. Usually it's in the garage here in Florida. Go there and you're gonna see the generator breaker. It's gonna be in the off position. It should have been in the off position from the very get-go when we did our first step, which is turning off the main. You should have had, when you walked out and saw your panel, you should see all the breakers on right now because we haven't done any steps, but you should see the generator 2-pole, the double breaker, 30 or 50, depending on the outlet that you have, depending on the size generator that you have. That breaker is going to be off. never on if you have regular power on, okay? And we never turned it off or on, so that it's gonna be off, okay? So your gen's running, generator's running, right? You turn on the circuit breaker at the generator, okay, at the plug, 30 or 50. Cool, now go to the panel, go to the other end where the plug is, the cord's plugged in, and you're gonna find the generator outlet. It's the only one, it's the one that's off. Besides the 2-pole oven dryer that we just turned off, you're gonna have the generator had been off. Okay, go ahead, verify you have the big loads in the off position on the circuit breaker, AC, dryer, blah, 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 blah. Okay, turn the generator breaker at the panel on. You're gonna hear your generator take a little bit of a hit. It'll go, it'll get a deeper run sound. You are now feeding the house with generator power. Okay, go check your refrigerators, go turn some lights on. Cool. Now, and this is all depends on the size of generator that you have. If you have a correctly sized generator to run your AC, go ahead and turn on the condenser. Some ACs have a 5-minute period before they turn on again when they lose power, so be patient. Some, the new ones that are on the internet Wi-Fi, you might have to wait until that connects again, okay. So you wait 5 minutes, you hear the generator. If you're standing near your generator and the AC condenser kicks on, you will hear the generator take another hit and it'll start work. You'll hear it, it works harder. It's doing a louder, a more deep sound. I don't know how to really explain the word I'm trying to say, but okay, you got that. Go turn your air handler on, because we all know that in order for the AC to work, you've got 2 breakers. You've got the air condenser and you've got the air handler. Condenser is always the thing outside on the side of your house, the big square thing that has Train on there or other brands. That's the condenser, okay? That's the little fan that spins that you see. The air handler is always the one that's in like one of the closets inside your house, and you see like the metal square box running up through the closet, whatever. That's the air handler, okay. You got those both on, your generator's sized correctly. It takes a hit, but it's still running good. It doesn't sound like it's about to die, right? Okay. So go ahead, you've got your AC on, you've got all the lights on, you've got all your outlets on, you're good to go. That's all it is, all it is. And then it's reverse when you have power or you gotta shut down to refuel. What you're gonna do is go to the panel that has the plug right next to it and just turn off the AC, which you had running. And then the generator circuit breaker that I told you about, turn that off. Okay, so now we're not feeding power to all of your anything in the house. We have power going up to the panel, but since we have that breaker off, it's not letting power pass through to power all of your appliances. Whatever, you didn't need to know that, but I'm a nerd. So now go to the generator and turn it off. Add your fuel, whatever. If you don't have to add fuel and you're going back to regular power, so you turned off all the big breakers for the big appliances, you turn the generator breaker off, you go to your generator, you turn that off, okay? So now what you can do is unplug the cord. If you have the generator off and the generator breaker off, unplug the cord from both ends. Okay, so your generator's disconnected completely from the cord. Go to where the main breaker is. Like I said, it's either in the garage, it can be anywhere, but it's either most likely going to be outside near the meter can, FP&L, or inside the garage at your regular panel. It's the big breaker. It says main. It's hard to push. People don't realize how hard it is. So let's go over where we're at. We have the generator off. We have the cord unplugged. We have the generator breaker off. Turn the main on. Go to the panel in the garage. Unless the panel has the main, you'll be there right then and there. You turn the main on. Go ahead, turn all the breakers on except the generator breaker. Keep that off. And you're back on regular power now. Go ahead, put the generator away. What I recommend at the end of hurricane season, either run the generator for 8 hours or however many hours to get all the fuel out, or buy a little siphon kit off of Amazon. They're battery operated. It's a real thin tube that has a little motor on it. It's really cool. And you can stick it in your gas tank, and it has a hose, and you can fill up the 5-gallon gas tank or fill it into your car, okay? You have to do that, guys, or you're gonna be paying $250 for me to come out there and unclog your carburetor. So yeah, that's the steps for turning on and off your generator. And if you have any questions, let me know. Write them in the comments.